Hello there, and welcome to what is VOD exclusive content, because I haven't hit the go live button yet, but I will in a moment. Now, I'm going to be faffing around a little bit at the start, so I've put some timestamps in the What's It My Bob, use those to skip to the actual content. And now I'm going to hit the go live button, and then I'll faff about sending notifications out and Discord pings and stuff. So, let's hope, yep, everything seems to be working. And we are, with any luck, live. Okay, I should probably just load up my own stream to confirm that I'm live. And that's... oh, is it going? Come on, Twitch. Come on, Twitch. Behave yourself.
Come on, Twitch.
There we go.
Behave yourself.
Okay, good. Right, I better have my stream manager open. And Discord pings. Control C. Control V. Alright. That's messages sent out. Hey Crispy, and thank you for the wish of luck. I've just been troubleshooting prior to the stream some issues with 3D Mark 11, but it seems to be behaving itself now. It was having a weird issue wherein it was saying it had like lost window focus, and what turned out to be the solution was actually unplugging it from the capture card, but I've rebooted the streaming system and it now seems to be behaving itself just fine. Hey Glenn. So fingers crossed everything will just behave itself. If I start getting issues where the benchmark is saying it's lost exclusive access to the display, I might have to take it off the capture card, but hopefully that won't happen because I don't want to have to do that. Hello Deepa. So people are just filing in now. I do have the system up and running at the moment. Switch cables, suggests Crispy. Well, maybe, but it does. I've just done... the second 3D Mark 11 run to test has just finished now. So the score's nothing special, don't worry about that. It's only... That would only be number 3 for the hardware, so don't worry about that. But yeah, so hopefully everything's going to work well. And I think people are starting to file in now. So yeah, and switching cables is something that might work, and it's definitely something I can look at doing if I keep having issues. So, but hopefully it should be fine. I think it'll be fine. Now, my inclination is, rather than moving the camera down to see the postcode, to leave it here. And the reason for that is I'm not expecting to be in the BIOS at all this stream, if I can possibly help it. But I'll just take you through at the start. So it's exactly the same profile as last stream. We're running 4.8 at 1.4 volts. Memory-wise, we're at 3733 sync on dual rank B die. 14, 13, 13, RCDWR down to 8, row cycle time 40, the RRDs are at 4620, write to read, I just dropped them slightly from the default, same with write recovery, and it's working fine. TRFC of 280, which is not excessively aggressive, but is, you know, pretty tight. RTP of 10 because I have strong feelings about TRTP. And all of the pirate timings down here, like TRDWR, those are all still on auto. Because really this is a CPU core brute force that's going on here. Hello, yours. So, yeah, that's about it for the hardware. So let's go and jump into the operating system. We've got a Sapphire Ultimate Passive 7750. It doesn't have a 6-pin, which is interesting. It should be fine though. And then we've got two extremely fast, I think they're 3800 RPM 92mm fans, which are actually off of old Aztec VapoChill tower coolers. So it's a funny story, I mentioned this last stream. Aztec, they started out making phase change, hence the VapoChill name, but then they decided, oh well, technically a heat pipe is a phase change, isn't it? Hey Matt. So Aztec started using the VapoChill branding for just absolutely everything. Now, I can see that that monitor on the camera is just kind of flickering, so I'm just going to shift the camera slightly so that's not in frame, because that's going to be annoying otherwise, I'm sure. Right. So, everything is dialed in from last stream basically, but it was only at the very end of the last stream. Well, it's not quite dialed in insofar as I don't actually... I've had settings that worked... these are settings that worked previously when I was power limited, but I now know I need to set that power limit slider higher. And that does mean these settings aren't going to be as happy, because it's actually running them. So I'm going to start out with 1400 memory clock, 1.4 volts through the core, and I'm going to try and run leet megahertz, which should work well, hopefully. This is hex-edited Sapphire Tricks, and I think I still have the thing set up in chat if I do !tricks. Oh, please say that's going to work. I should probably... Oh! Hey! That took a minute. So that's how I've done it, and for those watching the VOD who are not privy to the Twitch chat, there's an actually hardcore overclocking video showing how to hex edit tricks for more voltage. If I remember, I'll put it in the description of the VOD on YouTube. If I don't remember, please comment and badger me about it, and I'll see the comment and I'll put it in. Anyway, yes, so leet megahertz, 3D Mark 11, and performance. Let's run. So we're shooting for 6,614 points. So Twitch has this predictions thing I want to try out. Will I beat the 3D Mark 11 hardware record this run? Oh no, it's 45 characters. Let's turn hardware into HW. There we are. A streamer or mod will need to confirm the outcome. That's fine. Oh. Let's say that's next run. Oh goodness, it uses channel points. Okay, that's weird. I might well not use the prediction thing then. In the time I was setting up the prediction, will I beat the record this run? It crashed. So the answer to that is no. That's what's happened there. Alright. Well, that's sort of to be expected. You know, these clocks were working fine when it wasn't actually running them because it was bouncing off the power limit. So let's back off to, let's say 1300 megahertz at 1.4 volts. And I think that's actually pretty similar to the clocks that were running for the record run that's on there at the moment. So let's give that a go. The good news is that was just the error that comes from instability. So the setup is working fine. Ah, here we are. Choose prediction outcome. I'm afraid the outcome was no because the run crashed. Yeah, I'm not sure about the predictions thing. I guess if you've got an opinion, let me know in the chat. I can do more of it if anybody wants me to, but I don't know. It seems like quite a lot of effort and a bit silly, to be honest. But yeah, I'm just enjoying the fact that I've started like learning how to use the various Twitch affiliate things, like emotes. I've got emotes now. The emote got approved. Crispy says, I think you'll need to pick your moments. Yes. Yeah, I think that's about right, isn't it? Anyway, this run is looking good this time, I think. Alex says, I guess it's cool, but too much is silly. Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah. It's difficult to think of, I mean, yeah. I don't know what I could use it for, other than like, you know, will this run finish or will it crash? Or will I beat the record this run or not? Or maybe an over-under on score, but... It's a lot of faffing around and not a lot of overclocking. Questionable voltages. That's more of a poll, isn't it? Should I run this voltage, or did you mean something else? Ooh, it looks like this run's going to pass. Okay, that's exciting. So the record is 6614. So, fingers crossed. I have the ability to run ad breaks now, but I'm not going to do that anytime soon. I might, if I end up, I don't know, I'll have to play with it at some point. It might be interesting if I have to go take a break anyway. Ooh, yes, okay. That is 112 points above the record. That is, yep, that's a new record. Sweet. Yeah, I'm not going to start like running ad breaks in the middle of stuff, but I might, maybe at the end of the stream we can see how they work, but only once I've finished everything else, and if I still have time. Well, fuck, that was easy. I know, right? Everything's dialed in, 5950X. This is the 7750 au fromage. We are cheesing this. I say that. That's a very nice cooling setup. That is a very, very, very nice cooling setup. The fact is, I am on, you know, air, sort of, and I am actually matching single stage phase change clocks. 12 probably didn't mod his card, I guess. Or might just have been a little bit less aggressive about voltage than I'm being. But yeah, I mean, this is going to be the stream. I'm going to have to do something about the title. Max and max for that. CPU, memory, motherboard, SPUD. 6724. And I'll remember to save a result file as well. I got a score off stream, but it was in the like 5k range. Who ran phase change on a 7750? So there is this guy on HWBOT called 12, and I think he is going for the Hardware Masters ranking. I think he's looking to be at the top of that. He runs everything. He's gone through so many different graphics cards. Right, let's set off entry just while I'm talking. But yeah, 12 is a machine. 12 has been through so many graphics cards so quickly. He is where is it? Hardware Masters. Currently number 4 in Hardware Masters. This guy. He has over 600 hardware cups, and it's really, I mean, it's really cool. I suspect he's shown up in Buildzoid's score roundups every so often. And that's the guy I'm up against. I'm updating the title to just Tearing Through the HD 7750 records, because I suspect that's going to be roughly what this stream is. There's not a whole lot of point updating it for every single benchmark, because, not to get a big head here or anything, I suspect we might only have to do one run per benchmark now things are dialed in. I mean, I might regret saying that. What's going to happen now is I'm going to jump into Vantage and it's just going to crash. So, okay, it's going to be more than one run, probably, but maybe. We'll see. Also, I need to remember to keep half an eye on tessellation rules. So, I have tess off in the drivers at the moment. I think that's okay for 3D Mark 11. I'm going to double check, but I'm pretty certain it is. But then once we get into things like 3D Mark CloudGate, or what have you, yeah, so LOD test is allowed for 3D Mark 11. I think for 06 and Vantage, it's just not a thing, is it? Firestrike, it's allowed as well. But then things other than Firestrike, I don't think it's allowed. Yoz says when air beats old cold scores, that's brute forcing drivers. The thing is, I'm at the same or better clocks, so it's not just a driver thing. Use ATI set LOD to LOD on DX9. Yeah, I don't have that. I'd need to find that. DX9 is going to be an interesting one. 3D Mark 2001 SE is not going to run on this setup. So that I will actually have to pick up on something else if I want that record. The same with 3D Mark 99 Max. Or 12 settled for gold and stopped pushing. Yeah, maybe. Maybe he has backups. So entry, the previous best was 9.9k, and we're at nearly 10.2. So that's another record right there. Let's save that on Xtreme. At this point, it's just a lot of opening CPU Z, really, isn't it, this stream? This is a CPU Z opening stream. So many savable scores. It's alright. At some point, something's going to go wrong, and then it'll get more interesting. Hopefully. Actually, no. I hope everything goes well, but you know. All right. So that's CPU, memory, motherboard, SPURD, GPU, Z, sensors. Yep. And onto Xtreme. Yours says, I'll see if I can find setlog and DM it. Cheers. I may have tried it before and not had any luck with it. I know that there's a way of setting it through the registry, although I'm not sure if that's going to be a good idea either. Alex, how many watts is it drawing under full power? So right now, my power monitor is telling me about 202 watts for the entire system. Oh, I saw 206 there as well. It's bouncing around a little bit. So we're at 125 or so in between scenes. And then I saw 212 there for a moment. 208. So yeah, it's, I don't know how much it's drawing idle in between scenes, but it doesn't seem to actually be all that much. Probably less than 100 watts right now. It's only plus 30% power. There was some discussion of hex editing tricks to allow more power. Now, I was not able to find a way of doing that. I think I found clock limits. Wait, did I? I can't remember if I found clock limits. No, I think I found clock limits, but I don't think I found more power. So yeah, I'm not sure if that's actually possible or not. Or it'll be a BIOS thing, I bet. I bet you could get more power with a BIOS mod. But at that point, it doesn't have a 6-pin, and I might want to change that if I'm actually going to do that. I think at that point it would be a case of modifying the card very heavily. Whereas right now, it's actually a stock card, other than it's got Cryonaut, because I took the heatsink off and had to repaste it with something. So it's got Cryonaut on the heatsink, and other than that, it's stock. I mean, the fans are not even attached to the card. They're attached to this PCI bracket that's separate to the card. They're just next to the card. And there's also, I have this cosmetic metal plate as it comes with. I've removed that just to get that out of the way of the airflow. Yours says setlog sent. Thank you. I'll give that a look. I guess when I start on 3D Mark 06. Oh yeah, so I was going to double check. Yeah, so 3D Mark 06 doesn't mention either way, but I think that means it's fine. Vantage explicitly says it's allowed, so yeah. And then I think for Time Spy it's never been allowed. I think for all of the Fire Strikes it's allowed. I should double check that as well though. Because I know it is for Fire Strike, but is it for Extreme and Ultra? I'm sure it will be, but, you know, challenge your assumptions, right? Fire Strike Ultra. Allowed for Extreme. And allowed for Ultra. Okie dokie. What about Ice Storm, Cloudgate? It won't be allowed for Night Raid, it won't be allowed for Wildlife, because they're too new. Same as it's not allowed for Time Spy. Aha! We have a score for Xtreme, so that's 1733, whereas the record is... Oh! Hello! The record is 1735. Okay. That's interesting. So... the graphics score... Our graphics score is 14 points lower. Our physics score is much higher. Our combined score is slightly higher. So it looks like I'm actually losing to 12 on graphics score here. Oh, he's on Windows 7. Okay. That's probably it. So... I need more points. I'm having that gold. I can either rerun or I can try and set clocks a little bit higher. I guess I'm going to try and set clocks a little bit higher. Let's see if I can... The annoying thing is, if this passes, I'm definitely going to have to redo the others. Do I want to try and nudge up voltage a little bit? I don't know what the minimum voltage step is. I'm going to tell it 1405 and see what that does, though. Alright. So, rerunning Xtreme at 1310 on core. And if that passes, I'm going to have to go back and rerun the others because I've got higher clocks now. So... can never quite be finished. Oh, I've got an idea for a title. Number of golds taken. So gold's taken this stream 2. Evening, Matt. So this is going to be a fun one, I think. It's going to be a successful one. So as far as I'm concerned, that's fun. However, 12 has slightly better efficiency than I do. So I've had to push up my core clock just a hair. I'll see if that's enough to get me past him in 3D Mark 11 Xtreme. I suppose I could do an over-under as a prediction thing, but I don't know. Well, while this is running, I'll download setlod, as yours has been kind enough to send it to me. Crispy Silicon's back to the grind. Well, have fun with that, and thank you for the wishes of luck. Part of me is tempted to say something really arrogant there, like, oh, I'm not going to need it. No, I'm definitely going to need it on several levels. Alright. So in other news, I saw De Bauer has posted a video about that RTX 3070. Was it 3070? With the Noctua fans. So that was interesting. I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but you know, spoiler warning. It seems like it's It's literally just a tough 3070, but with a different fan shroud. Bit underwhelming, says Glenn. Yeah, exactly. Funnily enough, I saw... I might post this in my server, I guess. Major Hardware, who does a lot of kind of 3D printing related and fan related content, did a video where he took a very similar card and just 3D printed a fan shroud and slapped a couple of Noctua fans on it directly. And he said, "Oh well, this isn't going to be it, but it's going to be similar." But I think it was what he ended up making was very much exactly it. So the video's titled "I made the Noctua RTX 3070 a reality." I'm going to drop the link in chat, but don't watch it now because I'm streaming. Watch it later. I mean, actually, who am I to tell you what to do? But yeah, I'll post it in my Discord server as well, I suppose. Aha! 1740. And we were looking for 1735, and we've got it. Excellent. Oh dear. Oh no, how am I gonna... Okay, one moment. I know I'm supposed to be benching, but Komanso just sent me something that I guess I don't want to sort out like window capture on the stream system, so I'm going to pull this up on the benching system. I don't care if there's a problem with the drive. Now, this is maybe only funny to about 2 or 3 people at all. But he sent me this, which is really well photoshopped. Anyway, I was supposed to be saving a score. You know what? Just in case people weren't looking, I'll post it in my server as well. Same deal, because it would not be fair to like only have it on screen for a moment. There we go. Alright, yes, I was supposed to be saving this score. I've taken a 3rd gold. That's what we're here for. We're here for the hardware golds. Not for memes about hypers. Why does he have to send me funny stuff while I'm streaming? Unless he's here. Are you in the chat? Also, why is CPUZ not showing the version? That's weird. Is that going to be a problem? That might actually be a problem. That's really weird. What's up with that? Is it like that in the older screenshots? Oh, it is. I mean, how old are we talking about? What about last stream? Okay. That's really weird. Well, I am using the latest CPUZ version. So, according to the letter of the rules, I'm fine. And according to the spirit of the rules, you can tell when the score was made because the GPUZ version is still showing. So, sod it, is what I'm going to say in relation to that. Oh no! Oh, that's not a good start. I don't know how it is that I hit close on GPU-Z rather than hitting print screen and making a screenshot. But if I'm making that kind of mistake right now, that's not a good start. Okay. Right, well, anyway. So I'm going to rerun performance since I've got higher 3D Mark 11 clocks anyway. And on goes the benchmark. Yes, where were we? Alex said the Noctua 3070 looks meh, they should have just zip tied some NFA 1225s. Yeah, I mean, that's very much exactly what they've done, isn't it? Just with a shroud that's not even that fancy of a shroud. Oh, hello. Oh no. Is it really going to be like that? Okay. I'm just going to unplug and replug the streaming system. The premium is like $500 retail, right? I have no idea what's going on with the pricing. If it's $500 above retail, that's taking the piss. But so are GPU prices generally, so it wouldn't surprise me if you're just a bit out of date on what they're selling for at retail anyway. Is it actually... Okay, so it has been officially announced. Where's the price? Anantech don't mention a price. What about GSM Arena, of all people? No pricing information announced at time of writing, not that it particularly matters in the current market. So apparently Asus Vietnam listed a price that's equivalent to $1,100 US. What's a 3070 going for on Newegg right now? Just any 3070. Oh, I'm getting Newegg UK. Let's see if it'll let me change that. Yeah, that's not out of whack for a 3070, honestly. I'm getting 3070 Ti's here as well. But I'm saying there's the Aorus 3070 Master, that's over $1,100 on Newegg. Lots of 3070 Ti's. MSI Gaming 3070, that's nearly $1,300. I mean, these might well be like third-party, like scalpers or something. Zotac 3070 Twin Edge LHR, $1,050, and they're crap. So yeah, $1,100 US is not out of whack at all, I'm afraid. Yoz says Newegg also goes outside of MSRP with the current market. Yeah, I mean, they do, but I don't think that like an $1,100... If Asus say, well, the price is $1,100, I don't think that means that Newegg are immediately going to charge $1,600. I think that's just Asus being realistic, sadly. Hey, Salty. Oh, I need to do a title update. I've taken 3 golds so far. So I've got all the golds for 3D Mark 11 already, but because I dialed in a slightly higher clock to get the gold for Xtreme, I'm rerunning performance and entry. So that's what's going on right now. So there's a new performance score, 6732. 3 golds so far. Let's get this one saved up. It's very much a stream where I spend a lot of time opening CPUs, Ed. I also noticed there's a really weird thing with like a font rendering or something on this system, because the CPU Z version isn't showing. But whatever. Yoz says going to run all the bench or just points. Is there such a thing as a bench without points? They all have at least team points. So there's your answer. As far as I'm concerned, I'm going to run through absolutely everything. You know, at least as much as I can fit in the next 2 hours. Or, well, I've actually been going for a little while, but I mean, we'll see how I go. But I'm starting with all of the points, and then we'll go from there. If it's getting late, I might do some of the like dregs of benching off stream, but we'll see. Alright. That's 6732 saved. Right, just need to rerun entry and then we can actually move on with our lives. Oof, that CPU score, I know, right? It's an absolute monster. Now, I will say, in my defense, I'm not entirely cheesing this. No, it's low, you say? Really? It's way higher than 12 is getting, that's all I need. How much does a 5950X go for in the UK? I think it's somewhere in the region of like maybe 500 to 600 pounds. I haven't really paid that much attention. Where are we? Oh no, it's still at well, Scan still have it at 750. But you might be able to get it for less elsewhere, I suppose. Especially depending on how Alder Lake goes. Salty says I can get that on my 5900X. Well, wait. Hold on. Hold up. Was this for performance? I completely missed what the CPU score was. I might have to double check once this run's finished. Yoz says Intel's really good and you couldn't beat a 7700K on your 5300G. Yeah, but Salty's talking about Ryzen as well. It would not actually surprise me if... so there's a couple of things that could be going on. There's a different version of the 3D Mark 11 interface that is better for CPU score. And then the other big thing is, I don't know if it... Oh no, really? I don't know if it might be CPU bottlenecked. I was really hoping it wouldn't start doing this again. Anyway, since we've been blasted out of the run, so that was 29k, and then older run was also 29k. Entry run, yeah, okay. So it's getting 29k. Salty says 3D11 loves tuned mem. Ah, there's your answer. Apparently I've not tuned my mem well enough, which I can believe. The memory tune right now is very quick and dirty. I'm acutely aware that I'm only on a 7750. I'm just going to unplug it and plug it back in at the GPU side. Because maybe that's going to help. And I'm also... I'll pull out the USB stick that's in there once my monitors come back. Yeah, my memory tune is not that aggressive. Because it doesn't need to be. Like the CPU score, it may not be very impressive. I'm not saying it is. But for a 7750, it's more than enough. So it's just entry that we needed to do. Let's give that another run and, well, fingers crossed really. Oh no, the Cinebench tweak. No. Oh goodness, I don't want things like that to matter. I don't like that, like running other programs, and I don't like that helps. It's like the whole Catzilla thing. Actually, I don't have Catzilla installed. I don't know if I'll do Catzilla. I think last I checked it was being a little bit unreliable. I don't recall. I'll have to see about that. Oh no, again? Really? Oh, for crying out loud. Right, okay. I'm going to unplug from the capture card. Plug back in. Yoss says, no, the thing in BIOS with... also, performance bias. I don't have that on ASRock. Well, things were going well, so something had to go wrong. I'm going to reboot this system. And then I'm going to give it one more go, and if that doesn't work, I'm just going to move on. Because this is very much just about... it's just about not leaving a score on the table, I guess. And I have the gold either way. So there's no sense spending too much time bashing my head against this one benchmark. Now, if I have problems with other benchmarks as well, that could be a bit of an issue. Hopefully it won't be. Both of my HDMI cables are like new. Salty says Yoz is right about the R15 stuff on AMD. Yeah. Yeah. Except I don't have an Asus motherboard. Funnily enough, the streaming system is actually on an Asus board. But the X570 Tai Chi doesn't have performance bias. That looks like it's done it again. That's done it again. What the hell? There's a script to get it working somewhere. Yeah. Alright, well, since it's done it again, you know what? Screw that. I have the record anyway. Let's move on and do Vantage. Okay. So... the performance preset for Vantage is at 1280 by 1024 apparently. So let's try that. That might help. I know it helps for 05, so that's where I'm going with that. And fingers crossed that Vantage behaves itself. Glenn's off to play games with the kids. Have fun. See you later. And yeah, I suppose it was just 3D Mark 11 entry, wasn't it? I might revisit it, I suppose. But it doesn't really matter. I just want to have this card fully benched, which I suppose would imply Catzilla as well. Annoyingly. Alright. I've downloaded big files on stream before and it's not been a problem. So hopefully it won't be a problem here either. Salty says Heaven. I think I've got Heaven installed. Are you going to do a 3D Mark Universe lore video? I'm certainly not, Yoz. I suspect you might be the person most interested in that if you want to do something like that. The new trading cards add lore. Goodness me. That's, yeah, that's a little bit deep for me. Well, Vantage seems to be behaving itself, so I guess it might just be 11 that has a weird problem. Future Mark declined to comment when I asked them about the lore. Does that mean that they actually sent you a message saying we have no comment, or does that mean that they ignored you, though? Because there's a difference. It might well just be that, like, I mean, if you sent it through the definitely ignored. Yeah, I mean, the nature of things like that is, if you just asked their support, then, like, they'd have looked at it and just been like, well, clearly we don't need to do anything. Like, if their job is tech support, that's going to be a ticket closed as no action required or something. The nature of a company like Future Mark is I don't know whether the kind of people who would be involved in those decisions have any direct route to public contact. I think I reached out to marketing. Oh, okay. Matt's off for dinner. Enjoy your dinner, Matt. Good luck, have fun. Thank you. Yeah, fingers crossed for no more weird issues and more gold. Salty says UL have an office 45 minutes away from me. Are you suggesting that you could drive down there and demand that they tell you what the law is for the benchmarks? Oh, you actually are? I mean, if nothing else, it would give the employees there an interesting story. Please do this and live stream it. How was work today, darling? Oh, it was a bit weird. Oh, this guy showed up with his phone out, demanding that we tell him who the Time Spy is. I don't know what was up with it. He seemed to really care. Actually, more to the point, thinking about it, actually she's just called the spy. Oh, for goodness sake. So the thing about UL, under UL, or it's Underwriters Laboratories, I think. They do like testing of electrical safety on behalf of the insurance industry. So it's entirely possible that the local UL office would know absolutely nothing whatsoever. Like it's a huge company, and it's probably nothing to do with them. It's actually really interesting. UL have a resource online. Oh, hello, we've got a score. 13592. Is that a record? Vantage. What? That's nowhere near 12 score. What the hell? What? That score completely fucking sucks. Not to put too fine a point on it. Where's that compared to my last stream? Because I saved a Vantage... Yeah. So I saved a Vantage score last stream, and this was with the... This was at a lower core clock, and it was with the power throttling. And that was 14.5k. And it was 11.2 GPU. Now it's 10.4 GPU. Oh, that might be why. Silly face over here rebooted the system and forgot to reapply the overclock. That's why the score sucks. This does also mean technically I had the same problem as last stream, because I did forget to increase the power slider. Well, okay. So what was it? I need to save the new settings as a profile as well. It was 1310, wasn't it? Voltage I think was 1410. And then memory clock, I want to say, was just 1400. I should really double check. Hold on, I've got pictures. I can double check. That was, yeah, 1400 memory clock. Mick forgot to OC again. Yep. Remember the power limit. I'll save that as profile 3. Right. Well. Salty's going to do 5970, 5870, 5850 today for 4x 5870. That sounds fun. That's going to be CPU limited, isn't it, on the 5900X? Yoz says, how long does it take to thaw a turkey under a tap? One moment. Let me look that up for you. How long does it take to thaw a turkey in the fridge? So it takes approximately 24 hours for every 5 pounds of turkey to thaw it in the fridge. And then add to that however long it takes to question your life choices and realise that it's a bad idea to thaw a turkey under a tap. Seriously, that's disgusting. Don't do that. But yeah, apparently a 15-pound bird will take about 3 days to thaw completely. Finally eating my turkey from last Thanksgiving. The turkey is sealed, water is on the plastic. Okay. That's a weird one, isn't it? I don't know. Is that a thing that people have done? Thawing a turkey in the sink. Keep the wrapper on your turkey and put it in a large leak-proof plastic bag. Fill the sink with cold water. Breast side down. Change the water every 30 minutes. Okay, so it is a thing that people do, apparently. So I was maybe being a little unreasonable there. So, goodness gracious me. So 30 minutes per pound of turkey, which means that that's potentially hours and hours and hours, and you still have to change the water every half an hour, of course. You get a free turkey every year from work. That's good for you. I'm glad for you that you have a job that actually, you know, does nice things for the employees. It's just a lot of work to cook one. Boo-hoo. Oh no, I've got a free turkey. Oh, now I have to cook it. Yeah, it's alright for some. But yeah, I mean, seriously though, good for you. That's nice of them. It's nice when places do stuff like that, because it's not just about the turkey, you know. It's symbolic, right? It's like, it shows that they actually recognise that, you know, employees are useful. And, you know, that's kind of important. It's kind of nice. So it is good to hear that they do that. Nuclear treats people well. Yes. At least from benefits, etc. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. It seems to, I mean, like, maybe I'm about to shoot my mouth off here, but it seems like the nuclear industry generally has one of the healthiest safety cultures as well. But with that said, I've certainly heard of incidents. But, you know, you get that in any industry, I suppose. There's always sites where things are not as they ought to be. My department is good, but engineering and ops sucks for work-life balance. Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Capture card having a fun little time there for a moment. I'm really annoyed it's had that weird dropping out issue. That's a little bit irksome. Safety culture is amazing. You can always stop work at any time for safety or just things not aligning with procedure. Yeah, that's really good. That's perfect, isn't it? That's what you want. Yeah, you hear stories from, you know, some industries, some situations where it's just like, not great, and I guess, I mean, partially because of what the consequences are if it goes wrong, but also, I guess because of external pressure that's existed. Definitely different from Caterpillar, where I used to work. That's interesting. What did you do? Oh no, hold on. We have a score. 21,109. That's more fucking like it. Okay, so I'm still behind 12, because 12 apparently for this benchmark was at 1450. Okay. So this is not going to be as straightforward as I had first imagined. This is only a silver right now. Okie dokie. Well. But yeah, I'm interested what it was like at Caterpillar, if you're at liberty to disclose. I'm going to save this Vantage score. And then what I think I might actually do... I don't know. I'm tempted to move to other benchmarks and come back to it. Because if I can just blast through the modern 3D marks... then I'll get that done, and then we can move to the sort of slog of actually tuning for Vantage. Yours says, I just fixed PCs, but sometimes in the plant, and safety is important until production is important. Ah, yes, those, yeah. Yeah, safety third, as it were. Okay. A few years ago someone died. Oh dear. The bolt had been broken and they'd welded it instead of replacing it, causing it to break. Yeah, that's awful, that kind of thing. Okay, so we'll save our Vantage silver. So apparently I can't just brute force that, given that 12 is at real clocks. So let's see what I can brute force. Let's we'll revisit Vantage. But for now, so I've already taken the Firestrike gold. What clocks was I running for Firestrike? That seems worth checking. So I was only at 1200 core for the Firestrike gold, so I'll rerun that first. Now that I'm at a much higher core clock. Salty said safety only exists if they see it, and yours says that's true. And supervisors are good at not seeing things. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's not on the same level, but at one point I worked in the kitchen in a restaurant, and you know, you have very clear procedures, right? Like if you've touched dirty plates at all, like if you've brought somebody's plates in from clearing a table, you wash your hands afterwards before you take any fresh food out, right? That's, you know, categorical, always wash your hands, you know, when you're going from dirty plates to clean plates, right? Standard food hygiene. And then they also had a policy that if you take food out, then rather than just going straight back in the kitchen, you should clear a table, you know, one out, one in, right? That was a management policy. But what that means is every single time that you take food out, you have to wash your hands afterwards because you've taken something in. And no one ever told me, don't bother to wash your hands. But not infrequently, I would be in a situation where, like, I might be actively busy washing my hands, and I'm told, oh, we really need to get this out. Can you get on with taking this out? So, you know, it's very clear that there is a pressure in place there. Nobody's telling me not to, you know, follow food hygiene regulations, not to do the safe thing, but they're certainly they're applying the pressures, and they're leaving it up to me to decide how to respond to those pressures. Now, I would like to say the way that I responded to those pressures was, you know, I just didn't clear tables. I would take stuff out several times and then I'd clear several tables instead. But anyway, we have a score, 3867. Sure enough, that's 67 points higher than my last Firestrike PB. So that's good news. Let's pull that over to the side a bit. How small can I make it and still have the sub-tests? There we go. Yeah, there's not a huge amount of space, so I'm not going to faff around with all of the CPU Zs. Let's just do the important two. Okay, that doesn't count as a gold taken on stream because I already had the gold from last stream. So now let's do something that hopefully will actually be a gold on stream, and that's Firestrike Xtreme. You also said the main thing is supervisors stop doing rounds if they know they'll see stuff, so they can say they always correct issues when they see stuff. Ugh, yes. Ugh. Apparently Walmart cart people are the same. They make them watch videos on how to do it safely, then they give them zero supervision and not enough time, so they're not liable if the person gets hurt because they were told not to do it. Yeah, that's exactly how it works. It's the same thing with, like, you know, if a delivery driver is driving dangerously, well, they were told to drive safely, but they were also given a large number of deliveries and a limited time in which to do them, and something has to give there. The red guy is called the Guardian in this bench. Hashtag Steam card law. Right. That's good to know. I don't think I can do anything with that information, but cool. So here's a question for you, yours. Do you have any Steam card law on who this person is in the kind of hooded cloak? That's why UPS drivers come out with the failed delivery note, not your package, and then don't knock, it's faster. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's unfortunate, but you can see why it happens. Salty says, Yoz, you should write your lore idea for the next benchmark. Yeah. Ooh, I just checked Discord. Tech Tested is going to be streaming tomorrow. Excellent. Great, I'll be able to be around for that. They do not have a second card for Firestrike. I think it's one per bench. Okay, that makes sense. So there's no card indicating who the kind of... I don't even know how to describe the character, but the kind of like... the glowing wireframe with swords is, I guess. Okay, so that's 1404 in Firestrike Xtreme. The graphics score under there is 1454. You know, actually, this is no good. Hold on. There. So, whoa. Oh, done. That is also only a silver right now. Okay. Well, I'm going to save that as a silver, and we'll revisit that. I am actually running an awful lot of voltage through it. FSE silver. So yeah, because of how high the voltage is, like that's over 1.4 volts. I don't want to run, like, I don't want to push it even more for every single benchmark. So I'm going to run through things at this voltage, and then I guess I can push it a little bit harder to try and get the golds once I've swept up all of the easy ones. So Firestrike Ultra, I'm not sure if 12 ran Firestrike Ultra. So we're going to set that one off. Salty says my wife calls Vantage the... I mean, so I would pronounce that giggle effect, but I presume you meant jiggle effect. And I don't know enough about linguistics to place where that difference comes from, but I'm interested. I guess, is that a French thing? Just purely going from the name Salty Croissant. Yeah, it's a French thing. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, that reminds me. I actually need to message back an artist I was talking to. Right, yes, sorry about that. I'm back with you. Negative Feedback asked, what cooler is on the 7750? Good question. That is the stock cooler. It's a Sapphire 7750 Ultimate. So it's got a great big passive cooler. And then what I've got underneath it is I've got a PCIe fan bracket. So that's just a slot cover with a fan bracket on it. And that's got one 92mm fan. And then I've got a second 92mm fan there that's just zip tied to the first. So it is actually a fully stock Sapphire 7750 Ultimate. And two very fast 3800 RPM 92mm fans next to it, effectively. The fans themselves are from Aztec VapoChill coolers, which were heat pipe based tower coolers. Right, we have a Firestrike Ultra score. It is 493, and that, oh for goodness sake, okay, that's interesting. So that's also, yeah, my graphics score there is actually a lot lower than someone else got. But in this instance, the someone else was on much lower clocks. That's really interesting. What's going on there then? They have a validation link and it only mentions tessellation, so... Huh. Maybe that's a platform thing. I really thought I was going to get Firestrike Ultra. Tessellation. I'm certain I have tess off already. It might be something to do with textures. Let me save this silver and I'll have a poke around in the driver. They are on Intel though, so it might just be... Oh, goodness me, I hate to say it. It might be a memory latency thing, you know? It might actually be that because it's going to be swapping out to system memory, it might be that the reduced latency of an Intel DDR3 platform is actually better, potentially. Because it wouldn't be about memory bandwidth at that point. I suspect it would be mostly latency that mattered. Anyway, I don't think the 7750 supports resizable bar. Maybe it does. Okay. Let's fire up Radeon software and let's see if there is something. You know, I hate the notifications. I hate that it has, like, notifications as a thing. Need more bandwidth and latency even without direct memory access, it still will hit it. Ooh, that's a thought. Wait, what were the memory clocks? I should check that. So their memory clock is 1350. My memory clock is 1400, so it's not that. I think I'm on Elpida. Are they on a better memory? They're on Hynix. Okay. So Salty was saying I ought to be BIOS modding for better memory timings. But I really don't want to, like, mod the card. But that could be the problem. I'll try performance for texture filtering quality. I suppose. See if that makes a difference. But hopefully... Oh, the bigger VRAM version. Good question, good question. I should definitely check that. No, they're on a 1 gig card as well. Which I guess makes sense, because otherwise the Gulf would be a lot bigger, I'd have thought. So we'll see if texture filtering has made a difference, I guess. Failing that, who knows? There's probably like a bunch of things it could be. Maybe they just have their memory better dialed in than I do. Like some kind of BIOS modding thing. The Alpida stuff is supposed to be capable of tighter timings, but maybe it doesn't come with the tighter timings at stock. So possibly that's the issue. I know Salty has been saying a lot that I could just copy the timing straps for lower speeds and it would run it fine. I don't want to BIOS mod the card. Because I actually do, like, I know I'm being a bit aggressive with it, but I do want to sell it at some point. Because it's, like, you don't really get a lot of passive cards these days, and it's quite a nice one. And I have way too many GPUs. I'm sure somebody else could get some use out of it. But yeah, we'll see how this goes, and then we'll move on. Night Raid is a free gold, Wildlife is a free gold, Time Spy Xtreme is a free gold if the platform supports it. What about Regular Time Spy? Regular Time Spy has a couple of submissions, but it should be basically a free gold. What about Skydiver? Skydiver 12 has a score, but he's only at 1330 on the GPU. So that should be very doable. Ice Storm. Ice Storm is the one where you just run like arbitrarily low desktop res, isn't it? So for Ice Storm 12 actually is using a 7700K on Cascade at 6.1 gigahertz. That's going to be a little bit tricky. Oh, he's using E-Die by the looks of it. Or is he? It's Kingston 3466 CL16. Yeah, I bet that's E-Die. Or maybe... No, that's got to be E-Die. So that could be quite tough to beat. It'll be very interesting. It will be very interesting to see how this card does in Ice Storm with this CPU. Tech Tested, did you just say you have too many GPUs? Well, why am I thinking of those seagulls in Finding Nemo? Oh, 540! I've matched him. I've matched his score. Okay. But yeah, Matt, if I'm honest, I think anything that I was looking to get rid of, and that there are some things, it's low enough value that the shipping to the US would not be worth it. Negative feedback mentioned, you could always flash the old BIOS back. I mean, yeah, that's true. I just don't trust myself more than anything else. Right. So, if this is matching the other guy, I mean, I almost want to just rerun it. Nah, let's not get into reruns. What I'll do is I will nudge it up to 14, let's say 1410 memory clock. Ties usually go to the earlier sub, exactly, yeah. Matt says, no, I was just thinking it was heresy to imply there's such a thing as too many GPUs. I think you've got me there. You have any Aries or Mars? No. I have a couple of dual GPU cards, but nothing that special. The only real special one is the 390X2, which BuildZoid has now. So, yeah, I've got a 7990, but it actually needs some new fans, which I've got on order. But I'm hoping to sell that one on as well. Yoz says we're trying to make people jealous. I don't know about that. I mean, I have too many graphics cards, but none of them are very good. My best GPU is an RX 480, 4 gig. I already sold all the better ones. Heyo. Infinity says, what did I miss? Well, I've got all of the top scores for 3D Mark 11. Vantage, I need higher clocks. Firestrike Xtreme, I think I'll need higher clocks or something. Firestrike Ultra, I'm just rerunning now. I've pushed memory clock a hair. My last score tied the guy in first. I'm trying to run through everything that I can easily get the gold for. And then we'll see next. Alex asks, how much could you get for a 7990? I have no idea. It's going to be probably 150 plus, but I have no idea. It could be as much as 300. You got the power limit to go higher in software? No. So I had a bit of a look off stream. I can't find a way of hex editing the power limit. I suspect a BIOS mod might allow higher power limit. But to be totally honest, if I'm going to be pushing a huge amount of power through this card, I feel as though I ought to maybe do some other tweaks. It doesn't even have a 6-pin, so I don't know. I'm a little bit leery about that. I've got an awful lot of airflow over it, so the VRM's probably okay, but it is still only a 2-phase. So, yeah. And the thing is, it's really tempting to like go all out on modding it. But I have a lot of GPUs. And I do need more storage space, and every card that I actually go all out on modding is something where, like, either I sell it to another overclocker, in which case they use it to beat my records, or I don't sell it and it's taking up storage space. 548, I think that's the gold. That's the gold. Hooray! I mean, modifying cards, taking records with them, and then like selling them onto other overclockers with like, hey, look at the score it can do. I mean, It sounds like a good way of making money. But it's not really the kind of thing I want to be doing. So yeah, if I do sell stuff, I want it to kind of be on the open market, be to maybe people who are actually going to use the card, you know, day to day. And I don't want to just sit on too many cards. So this particular card, the 7750, the plan is not to modify it. I'm going to bench it as hard as I can. I'm going to get all the golds I can, and then it's off. But there are going to be other cards in the future that I do modify, for sure. This just isn't one of them. Right, well, that's my Firestrike Ultra gold. Shall we night raid? Hey, Jelly. Infinity says, I'll take that hardware modded GPU for a nominal fee of nothing. Yes, I'm sure. I mean, maybe that'll happen one day. Maybe if I ever, like... The thing is, I am not good at doing hard mods, right? Do I actually still have that lying around? I had a card that I had hard modded lying around at one point. Is that still anywhere nearby? No, I don't think it is. Darn. Oh well. Anyway, no, my hard mods are awful at the moment. They are really, really messy. I suppose I should be able to improve them. I mean, I've got the kit these days, or at least I've got some of it. I've got a TS 100. Maybe one day, if I actually am able to do mods that look nice enough, you know, that are maybe not as good as Buildzoid, but at least in that general direction, I could think about doing something like that, where I like modify a card and then pass it on. That'd be kind of cool. Yoz is talking about dual GPUs. He says the dual GPU VRM is interesting because the issue is there's not room for strong, so they often use the best components and end up weak. Yeah, that's interesting. Infinity says I offered to buy Buildzoid's 7970s, but as a collector's item, realistically, I'm not going to bench them, at least not competitively. Yeah, that makes sense. And that would be kind of cool. I like the idea of doing something like that. And to be fair, I do have the silver Sharpie. So I would be able to, like, scribble something on it. Although my handwriting is just awful. Absolutely awful. Like, to the point of actually being a problem. Actually, no, this is really interesting. While Night Raid is running, I'll go off on one again. So I was diagnosed with dysgraphia when I was a kid. And it's actually, if that's something that affects you, it's the kind of thing that's really useful to understand, right? Because the nature of having dysgraphia is, when I was a kid, I thought I hated English, right? I thought that's just not for me. It's just, I hate English class. And it turns out I don't hate English class. I hate writing. And understanding that was really useful. And I wish I'd understood it earlier. Because actually these days I'm really, really interested in that kind of like literary analysis, film analysis. But when I was in education, it was not something I ever sort of paid attention to. It was something I tried to avoid. So, yes. That's my PSA. If you hate English class, you might have dysgraphia, and it might be that actually you can like English. Okay, so that is a free gold. We have a free gold in Night Raid, and that means that I can update the title because I have taken number 4. But yeah, I guess I should mention that at least the way that I see it, and you know, I'm not an educational psychologist, but the way that I see it, something like dysgraphia, it's not like a specific like condition. It's not as if like you get infected with the dysgraphia virus or something. It's a descriptive term. It's just, you know, an experience that people can have that's similar to other experiences that other people have had. I'm just going to save that as Night Raid. But yeah, the really funny thing is that, like, I spent like a year writing for a tech site. So, you know, I went from hating English to, like, writing is what I do. Okay, let's do wildlife next. It's another... Oh, there's an unlimited one as well. Hold on. I should just double check on HWBOT. So Wildlife Xtreme and Wildlife... Okay, Wildlife Unlimited doesn't have a ranking. But Wildlife does, so let's run that. Yoz says, Mick, you should try to make it out to the US for our meets. Yes, well, thank you for reminding me, actually. This is probably... goodness me, there's 16 people here. So this is a great time to mention that if you are in the US, there are 2 bench meets happening. Let me read out my promo. For anyone in the US with the ability to travel, or even outside the US and can visit, Yoz has organised 2 bench meets in the US this winter during Country Cup season, and somehow he's managed to get sponsors. That means not only is it free entry, but the LN2 is free as well. Meet number 1 is November 17th to 19th, and meet number 2 is December 15th to 17th. Both of those are Wednesday to Friday. If you can get the time off and find your way to Bloomington, Illinois, that's Bloomington, Illinois, I'd say it's well worth going. So here is all of the info. Absolutely, if you can get there, I think it would be a great idea to go. Obviously, these are interesting times for any kind of like event, but bench meets in the US in the past, I know there's been a lot of people there. They've been really good events. Matt says I'm only about 4 hours away, but midweek may be tough to pull off. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Right, I think we've got a wildlife score. Yeah, that was quick. Is it just GPU score then? I guess so. Yeah, no subtest? Is it literally just one test for wildlife? I wasn't paying attention because I was busy shilling Yoz's bench meat. Alright then. How are flight prices to US and the UK? Here it's $500 minimum. I had a look on the British Airways website and it was, I think it was minimum £800. You know, way more than is practical. And that's, you know, obviously not including, you know, you'd need things like accommodation as well. It wouldn't be possible, unfortunately. I did look at it. I thought I'll have a little bit of a look, you know. I'll just see. You never know. You never know unless you look, and the answer's no. I would like to be able to go. Maybe one day. I think I'd need a little bit more than 3 Twitch subs for that. Need to be clear, I'm not saying if I get 5 then I'm off. It's you know, it's not going to happen off the back of that. Right, let's run Wildlife Xtreme. What about Fort? No. I mean, by all means subscribe to me, but it's... I think the number of Twitch subs that would be necessary to finance that kind of trip is something like... Ooh. What actually would it be? It would be probably about 400? And that's not happening. I have 14 viewers right now, which is more than I expected, honestly. It's quite nice, but... Yeah, I don't think so. Infinity says, to be clear, I'm talking from Poland to the US. Belarus is a no flyover zone. Oh yeah, that's the whole thing. And there might be cheaper tickets available somewhere, like British Airways, probably not the cheapest option, but yeah. Also, I am not I'm not a small guy. So the cheapest option would also be really unpleasant. Just sell out and start some hot substreams. Nobody well, I should not make such sweeping statements. I think the market for that would be small. Mineral oil overclocking tub. Are you suggesting combining that with what Yoz said? Because that sounds unpleasant. That sounds greasy. I should double check. Is there an existing wildlife score at all? Nope. And nope. Alright, so I've done Night Raid and 2 wildlifes. So that's up to 6 golds, I believe? Infinity says at 400 concurrent subs, I'd assume a lot of your revenue would come from other sources. Yeah, probably. At that stage, that would imply... I mean, there's some advertising revenue on Twitch, not a whole lot. But it's actually non-zero, which is nice. I guess. I do upload... I've started uploading the archives to YouTube as well. No idea how that's going to go. I have other random YouTube projects, but I'm not taking any of them especially seriously, and as a result they're not going anywhere. Okie dokie. That's Wildlife Xtreme saved. Let's do Times by Xtreme next, because that's a free gold as well, I think. Assuming it runs. Yeah, Infinity mentioned that he can relate to the dysgraphia thing. You have dyslexia and it was made worse by having Belarusian and Russian in school. Now you're using English and you're more comfortable in English than your native language. Yeah, I can imagine that would have been difficult. Yoz says you take your projects more seriously than I take hardware benched. That's a low bar. That's a very low bar. When did you last upload to hardware benched, Yoz? You had that Road to Ryzen series. How's that going? I'm still about 80% to a Bobcat review at CBA. And that's been the status for, what, 3 years at this point? Yeah, basically, yeah. So it's interesting, actually. There was a thing recently. Louis Rossmann put out a video, kind of talking about people who say that Linus from Linus Tech Tips. Oh, he just got lucky. And I have left my phone on. Hold on. I should silence that. Alright, what was that anyway? Alright. What was I saying? Lewis with an S, sorry. Is it actually... Okay, well. Anyway, Rossmann said that he'd seen this... He made a whole video basically responding to this one YouTube comment suggesting that LTT Linus had got lucky. And Rossmann's position was kind of... he was sort of saying that, well, yes, Linus did get lucky. From what I saw of it, he was saying, like, well, yes, Linus did get lucky, but also he didn't just get lucky. And if you take the attitude that all these people just got lucky, then you are, you know, depriving yourself of even the chance. Which is... I have mixed feelings about it. The thing is that the circumstances that Linus was in to do Linus Tech Tips, you know, he was working for NCIX, he was working for a retailer, he had a lot of access. Matt says it's not just right place, right time, it has to be right person, right place, right time. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And, like, you know, there are other people who have had the kind of access that Linus has with working at a retailer. I think Kyle and Paul both started out like that as well, and they've done all right, but they're not in the position that Linus is in. There's been other people who were doing NCIX Tech Tips who are not in the position that Linus is in. De Bauer works with Case King, but he is not in the position that Linus is in. So, yeah, I mean, you can't take anything away from Linus, I think, but also, I also don't think it's necessarily right to imply that just anyone can, like, jump in regardless of where they are. You have to think about what your strengths are and play to them. Well, we have a score for Times by Xtreme. Sorry, I'm about a month into streaming, and I'm already... The thing that I'm talking about is the meta of content creation. I thought it would be at least 2 months before I disappeared up my own arse. Right, well, let's get this saved. Is there actually competition for regular time spy? That's something that I should check. Crispy Silicon, on a break from work, how goes the cheese? Well, I've just got another free gold, I think. So Time Spy Xtreme is a free gold. There is some competition for regular Time Spy, so that's up to 7. Some of the other stuff is going to be a bit more difficult than that, though. I'm suddenly paranoid. Did I actually save? Did I save it or not? I distracted myself. tsx.png there, and tsx.3dmark result. Yeah, cool. That's saved then. Good. Let's do regular time spy. Matt says some people, I would say most people actually, including myself, don't have the vision and or drive and resilience to do what Linus has done. Yeah, that's not unfair. You know, I mean, obviously part of me wants to go, oh no, don't put yourself down, but it's true that, like, what Linus and very much and Luke did at the start of Linus Tech Tips was really fully diving into it in a really extreme way. Infinity says, here's what I don't get. Linus has 2 engineers with several degrees working for him. How do they keep making so many oversights? It's the production schedule, isn't it, I think? Yeah, I mean, it's funny because, like, the thing with YouTube is I think there's going to be a lot of people who have different opinions about what the best way of being successful is. But I don't know, like, I was going to say that anyone who's really that successful is keeping their mouth shut, but I mean, the truth is that, like, I don't know, like, people like Linus, they will talk about it a bit. There's actually a really interesting Tom Scott video where he got I think it was OpenAI or something, but he was talking about AI generated suggestions for other YouTuber video titles, and that featured Mr. Beast, right? And it was really interesting because Mr. Beast actually talked a bit about how he puts together ideas for videos and kind of what his process is. And he mentioned that one of the big things he does with titles is that there has to be a twist, right? It'll be something interesting, then with a twist that makes it unique as well. So a really good example of this is actually Dream, the Minecraft YouTuber, right? Where a lot of his, I mean, obviously his Minecraft Manhunt videos have been really successful just because people like Minecraft Manhunt. But a lot of his videos, especially when he was starting out, they were this format that's Minecraft but, right? So it's like, you know, Minecraft but a player controls the NPCs. Minecraft but item drops are randomized. And it's always Minecraft but. And that's really, you know, very directly doing that thing where Minecraft is the thing that, you know, people like Minecraft, and then the but is the twist that makes it unique. So I found that really interesting, but I'm not sure how you would apply that to technology. Infinity says the but format, as in the naming format, presumably was super popular like 3 to 4 years ago. Yeah. I don't know what the kind of new meta is for that kind of thing, if there is one. Yeah. I'm also not convinced that anybody who is successful really truly knows why. Okay, well, we got 916 in Time Spy, and the current record is 596. So I think that's the 8th gold. But yeah, it's kind of funny. So I noticed a while back, because I've seen all of the stuff about YouTube Shorts getting loads and loads of views, right? So I have this channel Mix Box Archive where literally I just point my camera at a box and ramble about the box, right? And the only reason that I do that is because I feel bad about throwing boxes out because I feel like they're kind of this historical record, and it makes me feel better about throwing it out. I'm not expecting anyone to watch those videos. I only do it, you know, for my own satisfaction, basically. But I gave it a go on that channel, and I got like hundreds and hundreds of views on a channel that has like, I think it's in the double digits, but not a lot of subscribers at all. So that was interesting. So then, yeah, I've already saved that. I decided to give it a go on Cricketech, which is kind of more of my main channel to the extent that I have one, which is to a very limited extent. And the first one went really well, and then like the second and third, I got absolutely fuck all, which is kind of funny. Like, the algorithm can be pretty brutal at times. And I think that was just based on the fact that it didn't see the relevance of them, or it might have picked up on cues like there not being a lot of initial interest, or people who did watch it weren't liking it, and it just went, okay, this is crap, I'm not going to show it to anyone. Right. Oh, shit. Oh, no! Oh, fuck. You know what I've gone and done? I left tessellation off. Oh, hell. That's 5 Night Raid times by Xtreme and Wildlife. Those are all invalid. Oh, no. Well, let me just update my title. One moment. I should have known something like this would happen. Right, I'm actually going to delete those. Just because otherwise it's going to be confusing. Okay. Well, I cocked that one up. Damn. Well, off we go again. Matt says YouTube shorts are hit and miss. I've done 2, and they've been my most successful videos lately, but a couple of other small channels I know have tried it and got no views. Yeah, exactly. I think to some extent it's like, are there words that are like things it's interested in? So the one that I did on Mixbox Archive that did really well was a 5600G unboxing, the Ryzen 5600G. So that's just people are making videos about the 5600G already, people are watching those videos, and the YouTube algorithm is going, well, okay, this person has watched a video about the 5600G, so maybe they're interested in this short that has it in the title. I think that's just what was going on, honestly. Like, keyword stuffing might not work, but keywords to some extent I suspect matter, is what I'm thinking. Like, the algorithm, to some extent, it's trying to think, well, who can I show this video to who's going to be interested in watching it? But that's how I sort of started thinking about it. But I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, I don't run a successful YouTube channel. So I actually have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm just blathering on because Night Raid is currently running and I don't want there to be silence. And I haven't got around to, you know, licensing music or anything. And yeah, Matt said, let's hope a video about buying 92 CPUs does well. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I hope it does. I think it has a lot of potential to be entertaining. It might struggle a little bit with... I mean, yeah... Maybe buying and CPUs in the title is going to be enough keywords for the algorithm to be like, yes, we will show this to people who have watched other videos about buying CPUs. But yeah. I'm also sincerely convinced that like content in descriptions and comments also helps. Apparently there's been a whole thing with like K-pop stans like spamming comments. Like I can't remember which way round they do it, but it's like they spam comments on one video saying that it on one song saying it sounds like a different band, and it gets it shown in the recommendations for that band. Or it might have been vice versa. It might be they spam the comments saying, oh, this band sounds like the other band, and then as a result the other band shows up in recommend... One or the other anyway. Because there's a video up that's like a random episode of a game show called Only Connect that had Tom Scott in it. Right? And nowhere in the video title or description or anything does it say Tom Scott, and yet that video gets recommended alongside Tom Scott videos and to Tom Scott viewers. And I think it's because people have commented going, oh, there's Tom Scott there. It's a bit like I think the Spiffing Brit did something about shorts where he mentioned the channel Block Facts, and apparently one of the things that Block Facts does, they're a Minecraft channel that does shorts, and they will have like Easter eggs, like they will use the skins of other Minecraft YouTubers, and the audience that's kind of mostly children goes, oh, there's Dream's skin, and then it gets shown next to Dream videos, right? Oh, there's Mr. Beast's skin, and it gets shown next to Mr. Beast videos, stuff like that. It's a theory anyway. I'm supposed to be overclocking a 7750. I have overclocked a 7750, to be fair. Now I just have to bench the damn thing. And, you know, do it legit this time. You know what? I'm actually going to save... I'm going to save that to a USB stick, and while I'm running Wildlife, I'm going to try... I'm having trouble plugging the USB stick in. Come on. There we go. I don't want to scan the drive and fix it. But yeah, I'm going to try and validate that. Just to make sure everything's set up right, because it would really suck to have to go back over it again. And yeah, let's go do Wildlife again. I think YouTube also looks up where from you saw the video. So if you, say, came to a video from a subreddit, you're going to be shown other videos that are popular on that sub. Yeah, that's true. I should really turn down the daily system there, the streaming system. Oh, whoops. Right. I accidentally hit the upload button without selecting anything to upload. Let's do that again. Okay, yep, that's valid. Good. The Night Raid run came out as valid. I'm going to leave that in score posting. so that I don't forget about it. And I'm back up to 4 golds. Oh yeah, Jelly asked DDR5, is it single channel, is it dual channel? I've seen the term sub-channels. I think that's kind of the right term. It's difficult because, like, how do you refer to, like, the stick that goes in the slot if you don't call that a channel? But yes, I think I'm actually going to watch the benchmark. For the next run. But yeah, because, like, each DIMM has 2 channels on it, but I've seen the term sub-channels used, and I think that's probably a sensible one. Because I don't know how else you'd call it, but I think CPU-Z might be showing, like, it might be showing quad channel when you have 2 DIMMs, and it's a confusing mess. I mean, DDR in general is already a confusing mess. Because you have, like, oh, why does CPU-Z tell me that my 3600 kit is only running at 1800? Anyway. So that's wildlife. And that's saved. Right, I haven't actually paid attention. Infinity says it has 2 channels per connector. No, it's not a wider channel, Yoz. It's the opposite. It's a narrower channel. The channels are 32-bit, or they're 40-bit if it's ECC. So half of each DIMM is 1 channel. So basically, if you have a DDR5 like DDR5 6400 at, you know, whatever loose timings, that is equivalent to 2 channels of DDR4. Thought it was 128-bit DIMMs. No, it's definitely not 128-bit DIMMs. I promise you it's not, because you would have to make the DIMMs colossal. Alright, so wildlife, we see a ship. It's landing at a kind of gas station thing with a marketing sign. And now there's a ship going through a landscape. We see these kind of weird creatures. This is a little bit all over the place, isn't it? Just sort of various landscapes, ships flying through them. Not. Oh, we have a character that's dropped down from a ship now. And okay, was that right? Well, that was wildlife. That's okay. I don't really know what to make of that benchmark. Yours, did you say they're called the Seeker? VDBC. Oop. Well, that's Wildlife Xtreme reran and saved. Time Spy Xtreme next. Yeah, the main character is called the Seeker. Alright. Remember when people thought all DDR5 would be ECC? Ugh. Oh no, yeah. Ugh. So we've done Night Raid, we've done both Wild Lives, so that's up to 6. I think, yeah. Well, you still have, like, this internal ECC thing, but it's like, it's going to be offset by just using less reliable chips. Like, less validation of the chips. So, yeah. It's being sold as a feature. Wow. I did not realise we'd been going that long. It's actually been over 2 hours already. Realising I'm actually going to stand up for a minute. I'm feeling quite stiff. Whew. Also, unless you implement 72 pins, it won't have any ECC capabilities. For DDR5, do you mean 80 pins? Or am I missing something there? Time is an invention. Yeah, lunchtime doubly so. I'm pretty sure it's 64 and 72. It's 64 and 72 for older generations. Or rather, not pins, but like it's 64 bits wide or 72 bits wide. Data, I mean, yeah. But for DDR5, because of the subchannels, my understanding is it's 32 bits for non-ECC or 40 for ECC per subchannel, so it's up to 80 bits wide for ECC, from what I've seen. Like, you actually have 10 X8 width ICs. Yeah, it was 72, like, even up till DDR4. It's very much something that's changed for DDR5. I'm going to be really interested to see how it overclocks. The change in the command address bus is interesting. I think that's it's going to alleviate a major limitation that had previously existed. Because at the moment, routing the command address bus is a bit of a problem. And actually, it's something I've realised recently is on a lot of PCB layouts, you have the command... Wait, what? Okay. So that crashed in the CPU test? Well, okay. Let's remember to reapply the overclock, and let's give that another go. We've got our power limit maxed out there. That's important. So let's hope that that was just kind of random. And that I don't actually have to worry. Because it passed the times by Xtreme CPU test previously. So it should be alright. I'm going to go back to standing up now. I know it's capable of running it. I think DDR5 ECC will be cheaper relative to non-ECC compared to DDR4. I don't think so. I think ECC for DDR5, I mean, rather than needing one extra chip, you need two, right? It's 25% more chips rather than 12.5% more. So just based on that, I think it's probably going to be more of a premium, if anything. And as far as like motherboard layout goes, it's like another 16 lines that you have to route rather than another 8. That's assuming that it's even pin compatible, because it might not be. But yeah, I strongly suspect that there will be more of a premium for ECC on DDR5 rather than less. I will say, in all fairness, the on-die ECC thing, so it corrects errors in the storage of the data, it just doesn't correct errors in the transfer of the data. I mean, it does help, you know. It's not nothing. So even though it's going to be kind of compensating for a bit sort of more lax manufacturing, it is also going to be, you know, the odd cosmic ray isn't going to get in the way as much. Glenn says 6 golds, nice. Yes, it is nice. It was more than 6 previously, but then I realised that I'd left tessellation off for the DirectX 12 benchmarks, so I had to rerun them all. So I'm in the middle of that right now. But hopefully we'll be back up to 8 soon enough, and then I can run... well, there's Ice Storm, and then there's... I want to do Cloudgate and Skydiver as well. God, this is supposed to be a short stream on Wednesdays. I've only sort of just realised, like, oh, I've been going more than 2 hours. Alright. Oh, Alex... Hey, speaking of which, Alex is off. Good night, Alex. Sleep well. Yeah, of course, because it's just about 10 PM here. It's going to be, you know, getting on for 11 PM on the continent, as they say. I feel slightly uncomfortable with how easily I used the expression on the continent there. So it sort of feels a little bit, I don't know. Feels like something my granddad would say, actually, if I'm honest. Something that very specifically my granddad would say. But, you know. Also, if you didn't know what on the continent meant, it could sound a bit weird, couldn't it? It could just be like, you know, oh, well, you know, since I passed the age of 80, I've been on the continent. Or is that the wrong way around? Would it imply, like, you know what, let's not get into this. Let's not get into this. Hey, we have a time spy Xtreme score. It didn't crash this time. Lovely. Good. Alright. Screenshot, and let's save that. Transaction synchronization extensions.png. Alright then. So I just need to do non-extreme time spy now. And we'll be back up to the 8. Jelly says, speaking of older late, I really want a 0+8 Pentium. that would be good, wouldn't it? It makes perfect sense, like for the right workloads, but yeah, are they gonna have any dies that are like that crap? Yeah, that would be kind of funny. I wonder if a 0+8 like Older Lake chip, Old Lake N for mobile is 0+8. Oh, cool, cool. So they have the dies then. What I'm wondering is how would that perform compared to FX in the 8-core rankings? Older Lake mobile is shit though. I mean, yeah, fair comment. The E-cores should be close to low-clocked Skylake. Alright. So probably, based on that, it would beat FX. That's interesting. Yeah, technology does indeed march on. God, at that point it's a threat to a Ryzen 1700, isn't it? Mobile older beats desktop FX. Alright. Okay. I suppose this is the bit where I do, like, what people always do when the processor that they like is losing, and they say, aha, but if you tune the memory... Which is, it's great, like... Back when Ryzen first launched, you had so many people on the AMD side who were like really into memory tuning, memory overclocking, and they said, oh well, if you tune the memory, then like my Ryzen 1700 is so much faster. It's so much faster if you tune the memory. And then like you had Zen 2 and Zen 3 came out, and that really put Intel on the back foot. And like you still have AMD enthusiasts who like to tune RAM. You still had Intel enthusiasts who liked to tune RAM back when Intel was ahead. But now it's like you've got Intel guys, like especially when Rocket Lake launched, who were saying, well look, you know, Rocket Lake may be behind in these benchmarks, but that's because they're only running at JDEC or they're only running at XMP. If you tune the memory, Rocket Lake is so much faster. Okay. We have a time spy score. It's only 899. We do actually have competition for that. The competition is 596. So I think we've comfortably beaten the competition there. VDDC max. Start render test. There we go. score. There we go. And we're back up to 8. Right then. Oh yes, filters, include unsupported tests. Let's run Skydiver. So that's 8 golds now. And yes, if you tune the memory, then my FX 8300 is actually really fast, so there. I remember some guy justifying buying an i3 10th gen because it, quote, could be upgraded to 12th and then 13th gen. Look how that turned out. Oh, yeah. Yep. There was a lot of this. Like, I got in a couple... Because I still got into arguments on Reddit at that time. Like, rather than avoiding Reddit. And I got into a couple of arguments on Reddit over, like, the 7700K. And you had people who were saying, well, look, the 7700K might lose in a lot of tasks to something like, especially a Ryzen 2700X, but even like to a Ryzen, you know, to an 1800X or something. And they're saying, well, look, the 7700K might lose, but I can upgrade. Intel are coming out with a 6-core soon. I can upgrade to the 6-core, and then I'll be ahead in everything. On my Z270 board, and yeah, and they got screwed. I mean, huh? Interesting. Skydiver physics failed. Why did Skydiver physics fail? I swear I've run it before on this overclock. Haven't I? Where's my mouse pointer gone? I don't have a mouse pointer either. Oh. Well, shit. Okay. Reboot, I suppose. Infinity says, to be honest, you can still force some Z170s and Z270s to run 1151 V2. I mean... yeah, you can. But it's like, it's a mod. It's a pretty, like, out there mod as well. Yee says, I feel like I saw similar, well, you can overclock or undervolt whatever GPU to make it perform like whatever other GPU, while also conveniently ignoring that the other GPU can also be tuned. Yep, exactly, yeah. Jelly says, remember Vega, but to be honest, I mean, that's like every AMD card since... no, that's every AMD card. Poor Volta. Oh, God. The thing that annoys me about the poor Volta stuff, right, is that on the one hand, you can sort of say, oh, well, maybe that wasn't justified in some way, but, like, on the other hand, like, it was this one little tiny throwaway thing, and people on Reddit really ran with it, and they really, like, made it into something huge based on, like, this one... like, it's a joke. Right? It's like... it's just a little throwaway joke in a fun little video, and people on Reddit are saying, oh, this is AMD, like, disclosing that their next GPU is going to be so super duper fast. Like, I mean, I don't think it's necessarily a good thing to be making marketing hype videos about, like, unreleased hardware products. Because if the hardware product is that fucking good, then you don't need a hype video about it before it's even out. I'm just going to try and rerun Skydiver and cross my fingers. Jelly says, I didn't even know about the poor Volta AMD thing. Yeah, so prior to the release of Vega, they had this whole, like, Radeon Rebellion thing. And it was like, they put out this, I think it was titled Make Some Noise or something. It's like a video of, like, a kid with a drum. And, like, he kind of finds his way into this warehouse, and the warehouse is full of, like, more drums. And there's a poster, like, fluttering on the door that says, warning, poor voltage, but, like, something's covering up part of the poster, so it says, like, warning, poor Volta. And I mean, to be fair, Volta was never a gaming product, so maybe they had a point, right? But yeah, it was sort of making out that Vega was going to be, like, a revolution, right? That it was going to be a really amazing product. And, I mean, the irony is that, like, RDNA 2 actually has been. But Vega was not revolutionary. Vega was crap, frankly. Infinity says, make some noise for AMD sounds more ironic. How did I... Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, I mean, of course. Make some noise, and then they come out with blower coolers for 300-watt cars. I mean, it was right there. They were telling us, guys. Of course. Make some noise. They did. Jelly says Vega was pretty amazing for low power, at least. The really annoying thing is that you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Vega scaled up and down in power really well. Like, it absolutely did a good job of scaling for pretty low power. And I don't mean undervolting, I mean, like, just dropping the power limit, just telling it, oi, you, use less power. But then, to some extent... Oh, it passed physics this time. To some extent with that, you have the whole argument that, well, like, any idiot can just make a bigger die and then underclock it, which is true as well. So, I don't know. There was this one period, like, when the Fury was still a thing, where the R9 Nano was priced really low. And, like, it was cheaper than a GTX 980. And the thing is that the R9 Nano was also faster than a GTX 980 in a lot of things, and lower power than a GTX 980, because it was very much an underclocked Fury X. So the Nano at that point actually did beat the GTX 980 in all three things, but the only reason it did that is because the prices had been slashed. You know, it was not sustainable. It was like clearing stock, unfortunately. Anyway, we have a Skydiver score. So we'd better see what's the competition for Skydiver. Oh no. Oh boy, 12 is at nearly 16k. Right. Once again, we are second in Skydiver. What's going on there? So graphics... Oh no. I think 12 is running with tess off for Skydiver, because his graphics score is 14.9k, whereas mine is 12.2k, and he's only at 1330 MHz core and 1250 mem. So he's running with tessellation off. However, I can't turn off tessellation for Skydiver, because that's the rules these days. So that's my score, and it's a silver. I'll see if I can push it at some point, but, you know, one thing at a time. I think Skydiver Physics might actually scale with all the threads, so I could give that a go, maybe. Right, start render test. Here we go. That's unfortunate. Oh, hold on. I'm only at 1310 core. So to be fair, 12 is also outclocking me. Infinity says they should have axed all the past illegal scores with adding new rules. Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you. I think that honestly, if they're going to bring in a new rule that like creates that big of a limitation, then yes. They should have just wiped the scores, honestly. Or they should have said it's allowed. Anyway, let's see how I do for CloudGate. But yeah, to be completely fair, 12 is actually at higher core clock for this ranking than I am at the moment. So it's not just that he's got the tweak. I can't remember if I think CloudGate is a lower feature level, isn't it? So it doesn't have tessellation, I want to say. Because I could swear CloudGate has been run on like older hardware. So I don't think it has tess. In which case I might get somewhere for CloudGate, which would be nice. We'll find out soon enough. Oh yeah, Infinity said, yeah, but at the same time, back then AMD drivers were so bad that some games would literally run no more than 20 FPS on R9s. Yeah, that is the problem, isn't it? That's kind of game developers tend to use Nvidia hardware because Nvidia's dominant in the market. And so they optimize their games for Nvidia, and AMD doesn't have the resources to optimize for whatever random, you know, indie game. And then there's the OpenGL thing, which that's just an issue in itself that persists to this day. Yeah. Okay, well, CloudGate's a fairly quick one. Okay, that's 24.5k in CloudGate. What's 12 doing? Did 12 do CloudGate? I assume so. Hey, we beat him. 12 is only at 22k. And I mean, part of that is the way that CloudGate is balanced. This is one benchmark that I'm actually fully like cheesing with the 5950X right now. Infinity says, as a developer, I can say that AMD's partner support for companies they deem not large enough is atrocious. Yeah, that's an important point. Yeah, I can see how that would that would be a problem. So yeah, and that's interesting as like a first-hand experience, because it's, I mean, it's easy for idiots like me to sort of say, oh well, you know, people don't optimize for AMD because AMD aren't dominant, but and you know, you can sort of, in defense of AMD, say, oh well, they don't have the resources. You know, they have to prioritize, but like, it doesn't change the fact that like the support's not there. Right. And there is our CloudGate score. Lovely. Result. That one is a title update. Jelly says, as a developer, I can say, AMD has support for companies? Yeah. Right. Well, I think what's left other than... It's just Ice Storm now, isn't it? Okay, well... Time to go small scale. Because Ice Storm benefits from dropping your desktop res. At least Ice Storm Unlimited probably doesn't, but Xtreme and regular will. It would actually benefit from going even lower than this, but I can't be bothered. So I'm just going to go 800 by 600. Infinity says, I think there is, or at least was, an attitude issue where they're overprotective of who can talk to their software and hardware engineers. Ah. Yeah, I can believe that. Oh, that had better not be a fucking crash. It better not have crashed in fucking Ice Storm. Oh my god. It actually has. You can see the reflection of the postcode down there. What the... Who the fuck crashes in Ice Storm? How do you pass Times by Xtreme, admittedly on the second attempt, but crash in Ice Storm? For goodness sake. Ah. Also, my face... When I took that photo with my laptop webcam when I was 18. I am 28 years old. Yoz says high FPS is more stressful. Yeah, I suppose. I had a whole thing to say about AMD being overprotective, but give me a minute. Oh, I should really remember to overclock, shouldn't I? Huh? Let's let 3D Mark load, and then I'll load up my overclock again. Ugh. What's the betting that Trix is going to not work at this res? Ah. Oh no. That's not happening. Oh, that's even worse. Close. Reopen. Blooming fast to change resolution. I mean, fair play. Right. Ice Storm Xtreme. Let's go. Infinity says, I was going to say that profile pic doesn't look like what I saw of you. Oh yes, it's been a long 10 years. Yeah, so back before the HD 5000 series launched, AMD were working on a feature, right? Like a killer app type feature. This was variously known as things like Sunspot or Sunspit was also a name that was used. They had different names when they were talking to different people, and this was so tightly controlled, right? We now know that feature as Eyefinity, and this was revealed with a bang when the 5,000... Again? Huh. When the 5000 series launched, it came out with Eyefinity, and Nvidia had no answer to it, right? Nvidia had no answer to it for all of Fermi. I don't think even Kepler had good, like, multi-monitor support. And this was something that AMD had succeeded in keeping very, very quiet. And they were really fucking pleased with themselves. And what they seem to have taken away from the fact that they had this big advantage for a while is that they should never ever talk to anyone about anything ever. They seem to think that secrecy is a substitute for, like, good products. Which is unfortunate. Okay. It's probably not the CPU. Because I don't think Ice Storm is that CPU heavy. It's probably the GPU. I'm going to take a wild guess at memory, because I do have the memory set quite aggressively. So let's just try 1360. But yeah, it really annoys me that, like, motherboard vendors don't get enough time with samples to, like, do a good job with BIOSes. They don't get anything like the level of support that they get from Intel, from what I've heard. And, you know, this is all third hand, right, to be clear. But, like, this is what I've heard from what other people have heard. And I do, you know, as someone who does, you know, like AMD products, I do kind of wish that they would be a bit less rectocranial about it and, you know, not be so overprotective. But then again, Nvidia are doing the same things now. You know, Nvidia with the RTX 3000 series, supposedly, what they did was they didn't give their board partners proper drivers. They just gave their board partners these drivers that would only run one thing, and it was Nvidia's own, like, internal stress test. And then Nvidia's own internal stress test would either return, pass, or fail, and that was that. So the effect that this had is a lot of partners couldn't really do proper GPU development. And what we see now is, you know, GPUs are blowing up in New World. And I'm sure that's not something that New World's done wrong. It's not. Oh, really? Okay. Maybe it's Core. Where's Tricks? There it is. Infinity says, I think a bigger problem is that software developers are hard-pressed to get new GPU releases. Is that in relation to optimization or in relation to conflagration? A friend of mine working at a big game dev studio said they had one 3090, two 3080s and one 3070 for close to half a year. Goodness me. Yeah, that sounds pretty limiting. Although I suppose at least if it's like a new release, it's not too big of an issue, you'd sort of hope, because like you can just brute force it. Come on, that's got to be just in between tests. What? That looked like it finished the... I'm not convinced that it isn't the CPU, you know. Or the memory. Okay, well, it's not a very long benchmark. Let's stop faffing around and do real troubleshooting. So, Ice Storm is crashing. Okay, well, I'm going to take this as an indication that maybe my GPU isn't quite stable. When RDNA 2 dropped, they didn't wait for AMD to provide them with samples and just went out and bought scalped cards. Jeez. Infinity... Jelly says, what just happened? Random colours on the screen and then it crashed. Which makes me think that maybe the GPU was not as stable as it could be. Anyway, I was going to reset the GPU to defaults anyway, so I guess a reboot is one way of doing that. I have been running it at 1.4 volts for the last 3 hours. The cooling setup is very good. So hopefully it's okay. Anyway, maybe let it cool. Those fans are 3800 RPM. It will be less than 30C. Now, I guess you might have a point, actually, because the RAM... the core will not be hot, but the RAM has tiny, teeny little heat sinks on it, so the RAM could be getting a little bit warm. I don't even have temperature monitoring on the RAM. But yeah, it's... That's what I'm hearing. Could always stick a pro... Oh! Well, look at that. It made it into physics, so it is GPU. Okay. I'm really interested to see how this scores. Because I'm not sure what Ice Storm favours. I think that was the physics test though, like that was the CPU test. Oh no, okay. That was GT2, this is the CPU test. Big bouncy balls of fluid. Physics tests like this, it's the same with Firestrike. It's always kind of like... I mean, I get that it's probably a more relevant test, But I do find myself thinking I would like to just see, you know, something being knocked over for physics. Okay, so there's our scores. So yeah, it's quite close between graphics and physics. So this is Ice Storm Xtreme. 12 is scoring 118k. He is at 121k graphics and actually 111k physics as well. That's interesting. Oh, I see. So for Ice Storm Physics, 12 is actually on a 6 GHz 7700K. Jelly says the balls are my favourite. Good to know. Good to know. Okay. So it's fully capable of passing Ice Storm. Just as long as it's not, you know, being pushed too hard. So let's drop clock more than I dropped clock last time, especially memory clock. And let's give that another run. I say drop clock, but like it's still plus 50%. Now, the problem here that I might run into is even Ice Storm Xtreme is still going to be CPU bound, I suspect, on the GPU score. Because it's fucking Ice Storm. So, we'll see how it goes, but it might be that I would need either a different platform or maybe better tuned memory to take this one down. It's been going a while now, it's 3 hours and this is a Wednesday stream. What I think I'll do is, I do actually want to do a little bit more kind of interesting tuning. And okay, that made it to GT2. Good. I am conscious of the time. Like I was, you know, this is scheduled to be a 2-hour stream, and we're at Oh, that's still up to date. Sweet. I was just looking at that, like, oh no, I forgot to update my rig command, but no, it's up to date. Sweet. Good. Yeah, what was I going to say? Because I don't want to be going all night, I think once this bench run finishes, if this has actually improved a lot from applying a GPU overclock, then I'll save it and I'll do more Ice Storm. I'll do the other Ice Storms. But if it hasn't improved meaningfully, I mean, I'll still save it. Fuck me. Yeah, I think we can call that a meaningful improvement, folks. Yeah, I'm doing the other Ice Storms. Goodness gracious. Yeah, that's a gold. What can you even go up to from 5950X for this? What can I go up to? I can tune the memory better. And that's it. I don't have any modern Intel. Now, something like an 11900K would be an absolute fucking monster for this benchmark. But I do not have an 11900K, nor do I have something like an 11900K. I guess the other thing is maybe the 5600G might actually in some situations be more capable. Possibly. So to be fair, I could do the 5600G. Alright then. And yep, that beats the current ice storm record by a large margin. So that's 10. Ah. Alright, let's do non-extreme ice storm as well. By the way, did you see that i3s are now i5s? No. What do you mean by that? As in, have they retired the i3 branding? I'm going to look this up while the benchmark runs. I've not been following stuff that closely. Intel reclassified some i3s to i5s. What? Do you have a news article about that? Because, like, if I Google i3 to i5, it's just like, oh, can I upgrade? I'd have to look it up. It was just one chip. Might be misremembering. Okay. I guess I'll just I'll scroll down through Tech Power Up just in case there's something, because BTA Runner likes to post clickbait, so anything like that that's like really clickbaitable, they'll be on. I probably shouldn't be like putting people on blast as much, like on stream. Okay, we have an ice storm score and it's nearly 200k. The current record's 178k, and we are well above that. Okie dokie. Back to 1080p. So, I think for Ice Storm Unlimited, my understanding is that the resolution tweak doesn't work. Because it doesn't render at desktop resolution anyway. Like, it doesn't even render. You don't see it. It wouldn't surprise me if Intel have, like, started using the i5 moniker for chips that would kind of have been an i3 for previous generations, I guess. Although, more than that, they've been kind of going the other way. Like, you see, like, quad-core with hyper-threading, and it's an i3. That used to be an i7, so, I don't know. Memory, mainboard, spurred. Render test. Save. And let's not forget our validation file. There we go. Alright, so I'll set off Ice Storm Unlimited, and knowing that benchmark, I will have just enough time to do a title update to reflect the newly taken gold, and then Ice Storm Unlimited will finish. Okay, not quite. I'll need a little bit longer. Thanks, system info. That was GT1. Here comes GT2. That was GT2. Here comes physics. That was physics. And that's Ice Storm Unlimited for you. 195k there. So that is also a gold. Sweet. I should probably do a GPU-Z validation for this card at some stage. I want to set higher clocks for that though. Just like 1400, why not? I know. GPU-Z validation is such a meme of a ranking. Because like, there's no stability aspect whatsoever. It doesn't have to even actually be running at the sodding clock. I don't know. They should really change it so it's like you have to have the render test running in a screenshot. I might do it that way. Like, I'll do a GPU-Z validation at some point, but I'll do it like with the render test running. Anywho, that was Ice Storm Unlimited. So, I think oh, there's still VRmark as well. You know what? I'm going to stop doing like random free gold memes on stream, because I don't need to prove to anyone that I can get a gold in VRmark. I can clearly get a gold in VRmark. No one else has run the bloody benchmark. I think more interesting than that is whether I can get a gold in something like 3D Mark Vantage or 3D Mark 06. So let me just have a quick look which is more popular. Because I ran Vantage already and I didn't have the... Okay, Vantage has the most points after 3D Mark 11, which I've already taken. Oh, and then there's Heaven as well, and Superposition. Okay. Let's do Vantage, I think. So I'll pull up my personal best. And So PB 21109. Target for Vantage 21525. Oh, right. Okay, you're thinking of the renaming of processors and stuff. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so. So for Vantage, I was running 1400 memory clock for my last score. And I was running, what, 1310 core? Part of me really wants to just yeet voltage and see if I can hit 1400. That would be premature. Let's see if I can pass Vantage at Elite core. How about that? And that's going to need more voltage, so I'm going to try 1.42. That might hurt my memory clock, but we'll see. Okay. We're doing proper overclocking now, not just blasting through benchmarks. This is DirectX 10, so no tessellation tweak and no LOD on AMD either. There's nothing special going on here to worry about. Just pure benching. God, this has ended up actually going... I don't know, like, how long I thought it was going to take, but... it's going long. Well, they always do, don't they? I don't know. I need to try not to overdo it, but at the same time, it's like, yeah. I don't know. I'm a bit stiff from not having moved enough today in general, to be fair. So, we'll see. I want to get Vantage done though, if I can. So I'll get the Vantage score, and that's going to take a while. We're not. I suspect we're not close to the end yet, but that's where I'm going to draw the line. I think because I'm 3 hours and 20 minutes into a 2-hour stream, as always. I'm mostly feeling alright. It's just too much being sat down. This is why I'm kind of glad to not be operating with like a face cam, because I get to this. I say this every stream, to be fair, but I get to this point and it's like I can stand up, I can shift around. It's a bit easier. Yeah. Once I'm done with this GPU, I mean, part of me wants to carry on with more graphics cards after this. I have a couple of others lying around. I've got an Asus HD 7770, and that's the DirectCU one. So that's potentially a fun card. Actually has a 6-pin. I don't know what VRM controller it uses. I suspect there is scope to mod it. And one of the cool things about the DirectCU is if you look at how the cooler sits, like there's actually this really big gap between the cooler and the PCB at the back. So there would be space for mods, and it would still be possible to mount the air cooler. I'm still not sure where the VRM controller is. Because actually I can see there's some stuff up by the I/O as well. It looks like there's... Yeah. I'm not sure how the VRM on this card is laid out. But yeah, that's one option. What else is there? What else have I got that I could potentially do once I'm done with this 7750? So I've got oh, I overstretched the mic there a bit and it pulled the camera around. Let's fix that. But yes, I have a 6850, an HIS 6850, so that's neat. Hold on a moment. Vantage crashed. Not only that, Vantage crashed in physics. That's a little bit worrying. That's a lot worrying, actually. My worry here is crashing in physics is what it was doing previously when it was power limited. And it really wouldn't surprise me if it's power limited again. So I'm just running the render test now just to see. So from the wall in the render test it draws up to 190 watts. There's no sensor for GPU power draw, which is a little bit irksome. I don't know, I'm concerned. I think I'll give it just a rerun and we'll see what happens. But yeah, this is a little bit... This is concerning because it makes me wonder if I'm passing both of the GPU tests and then I'm crashing in physics. Am I in fact now limited by... Am I now limited by the power limit once again? Because I only have plus 30% without BIOS modding. And BIOS modding is a whole other thing to get into. And I kept saying I'm not going to BIOS mod, I'm not going to BIOS mod, I'm not going to BIOS mod. But I want the fucking golden Vantage. I don't know. I know for a fact, if I do a poll and I say, oh, should I BIOS mod it? Everyone is going to say yes. I don't even need to do the poll. I already know that's what you're all going to say. Could measure socket wattage. Not with my hardware, I couldn't. We're seeing 240 watts from the wall at the moment. It's bouncing around a little bit. I saw 243 there, 239. But yeah, about 240 watts from the wall. What I was going to say before Vantage crashed, I meant the wall socket. Oh, right, yeah. I saw 250 there. So I was going to say, I have this 6850 here. Single fan, 4 heat pipes. Quite a nice little cooler. The PCB is interesting because the 6850 has a single 6-pin. But you can see on the PCB there's a space for a second, which means it's probably the same PCB as a 6870, and you can see just there, you probably can't see it on the camera, but one of the phases is unpopulated. So that's an interesting little card. You do look at that and think, I wonder. I suspect adding a phase is beyond me. Oh, also, actually, you can probably just about see, you see that little square there that you can kind of see underneath the heat pipe? That's a VRM heatsink. You can see the screw holes for it there and there. It has a VRM heatsink that's separate. So that's a neat little card that I could have a go with at some point. Those are just 2 that I have to hand. I have a lot more. I wonder what controller this 7750 has. Are you better at soldering than Buildzoid? I am significantly worse at soldering than Buildzoid. Buildzoid's pretty good at soldering, and I'm not great at soldering. Like, I'm capable of it, but I'm not great. I would to a certain extent blame my tools. Like, I know that's what a bad workman does and all, but like, I can definitely say that if you have a crap soldering iron, you're going to have a bad time if you are trying to do like electronics rework kind of stuff. You know, it's fine if you have like, you know, some like soldering kit. Then yeah, oh, I see what you're getting at. Soldering on a new phase doesn't sound like a good idea. I mean, you're not wrong. I don't have like a rework type hot air gun either. I have a paint stripping type hot air gun, and that's it. So, yeah. What are we getting? I'm seeing 233, 237, 233, 235, 37. Oh, 240 watts there. It's moving around a bit. Oh, 304. Yeah, that's drawing about 290 watts continuous in physics. What iron are you using? I have a TS100, and I have, I think it's a Draper branded, like 150 watt plumbing iron, which is actually really useful. The Draper plumbing iron gets really fucking hot. Ah, Crash and Burn is loaded. That's a good sign, hopefully. So Crash and Burn is only drawing about 270 watts, so it's actually not pulling as much power as the first physics test did. Yeah, it's really not pulling as much power. I wonder if it's more memory intensive on this. TS100 is not that bad at SMD soldering. Yeah. Yeah, it would definitely be possible. Okay, please. Yes! Okay. 21646. Where is that in relation to my target? Well, fuck me. Yeah, okay. I've got the Vantage gold now. As long as I can save this. There's your Vantage gold. Alright then. Save results. Two, 1, 6, 4, 6. Good. So the other one is Vantage Xtreme, but that's actually a free gold. Just update the title. Gold's taken 12. I think I already saved a Vantage Xtreme score, but I'm not going to faff about with free golds. So, 06 next, I suppose. 26366 is my target for that. I said that and I've immediately forgotten. What was it? 26366. Oh, I entered that in PB. Target. Stream info updated successfully. Alrighty then. I said I'd quit after Vantage, didn't I? Anyway, let's run 3D Mark 06. Yep, the tests there are already what we want. Oh, 3D Mark 06 also runs at 1280 by 1024, so let's drop that down. No point dragging that around, so I'm going to change resolution anyway. Run! I think in my head I was... Oh! Hello. Well, that's unstable then. That's unstable very quickly. Okay. I'm assuming that's core. So I'm just going to try 1320. I mean, it could be, man. Also, there is LOD for this. The system power draw is well, it's a lot lower now. Maybe it is, man. Let's drop mem by like a ton and see what happens. Okay. Let's drop core by a ton as well. Well, not a ton, but not a small amount either. I guess it was core. How's system power draw? 206, 207, 211, 213. This score's not going to be very good because I haven't done LOD, and LOD is a thing, aside from the operating system. But I want to see how it goes, and God, I can't get into software tweaks. I want to run this. I'm going to run it once. I'm going to see what... Oh, hello. Okay. You know what? I'm going to sort this out some other time because I did say I would quit after Vantage. I've just seen the viewer count tick up by one, so apologies to whoever just tuned in. However, I'm going to see if I can find someone to raid. UF Disciple was on earlier. Is he still on? He is. Is he actually doing anything? Oh, there's an advert on his channel, of course. Just mimic. Hey, Crispy. Well, sorry to you then. Let's move that back to the camera. Yeah. So, I'm not going to troubleshoot 3D Mark 06 right now. I'm going to call it instead. Because if I keep going, it will easily take another half hour, and then I want to do something else as well, and you know, the time will just keep passing and keep passing. Has the advert finished? The advert has finished. Okay, UF Disciple is actually online now, which is something. So, yeah, I'm going to drop you all on UFD Tech. UF Disciple. He is actually a hardware bot overclocker. He was in Rookie League the same time I was. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you on Saturday. Oh, before you go, anyone who's not already in the Discord, do feel free to join. And yeah, this will be UF Disciple in about 10 seconds. Right. See you later. Bye.